All right, everyone. Today is Chapter 6, Homework number 5. 49. Write an equation to represent each of the situations described below. Right now, we don't have to solve it. We're just writing an equation. Right. So, letter A, 49A. It says on Friday, 150 people went to see Ode to Algebra perform in the school auditorium. Okay. Both children and A adults, or excuse me, both C children and A adults attended the performance. All right. So for that one, we do know that there were 150 people. Right. So total is going to be 150 people. Right. And then we do know that there are children, which is we're going to use the letter C, and we do know there are adults, which we're going to use the letter A. So really, it comes down to is that there's children plus there's adults, and together it's going to total up to be 150. Okay, we don't know how many children, we don't know how many adults, but we do know that it's just C and A. Okay. 49B, the cost of a new CD. So CD is $14.95. The cost of a video game is $39.99. And Wade spent a total of $84.84 on CDs and video games. Okay. So again, same setup. I'm going to go ahead and say I know my total. Okay. Wade spent a total of $84.84. Okay. That's a total. That's why it's equal to that. Now, unlike the last one where they want to know how many adults and how many children, this one, we don't know how many CDs and how many video games, but we know how much it costs. Right. And we know the total cost is right here too. And we do know that each CD, right, which when you see, it's going to cost $14.95. Right. So, and if we add for each video game is going to cost $39.99. Right. So for every CD, we multiply it by $14.95, and for every video game, we multiply it by $39.99, and we will get a total of $84.84. Okay. 51. Solve each of the following equations for the indicated variable. Show all of your steps. Okay. So for A, let's see, it says y equals 2x minus 5. And we need to solve for the x. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out for now. All right. So if I solve for x, which means I need that x right there. Okay. So I need to solve for x. Okay. This part in the back doesn't count. So solve for x. Right. So if I'm solving for x, I need to first get rid of the 5. So minus opposite is positive 5. That means I'm going to do positive 5 over here also. Right. These are going to cancel. And I will be left with, and y plus 5, I can't do anything with it. So the best I can do is put y plus 5. And that's going to equal 2x. Okay. And again, I'm still trying to figure out what x is. So I need to get rid of that 2. And to get rid of that 2, keep in mind that 2 is very close to the x. Now, not like the negative 5 where it's a little bit further out. That 2 is very close, and we have to split them up. And split them up, the opposite of multiplication is division. So divided by 2. Right? And by doing that, we finally solve for x. So x, I'm writing it a little backwards here, but just following the equation, x equals y plus 5 divided by 2. Okay. You can also put it as y divided by 2 plus 5 divided by 2. If you want to split it up into two separate terms. Okay. So either one is okay. You can go with either one of these answers. You can go with this answer, or you can go with this answer. They're both equally correct. Okay, B. Again, we want to solve for W. right here, right? So we want to solve for W. Let me get rid of this just so we don't get confused. Okay, so by doing this, we need to go ahead and get rid of everything on the side where W is except for the W. So get rid of the plus 9, which is minus 9. Minus 9. Okay, the 9 and then the minus 9 cancels. And P minus 9, you can't do anything with that, so you're going to just copy it down. P minus 9. Okay, and you're going to copy the rest minus, or excuse me, equals A, negative A to the W. Right? And now, look at this. We're right up next to the W, and that's a multiplication. We need to undo that multiplication. We need to do that by doing a division of negative A. Okay, and that's going to cancel even the negatives, and we will be left with W equals, you could write this as P minus 9 over negative A. Oops. Sorry, that looks like a 9 over negative A. Okay, and that is perfectly fine. Right? Or if you want to write it as two terms, you can write it as W equals negative P over A plus 9 over A. And that right there is just as good. Okay, so either one of those are fine. And I'll tell you why the second way is also acceptable, right? So that's for A and B. Pause it if you still need it. I'm going to go ahead and erase it right now. Okay, B and so sorry, D and C. All right, for C, oops, let me erase some more. For C, we're solving for M. So we're going to solve for M. That means we don't need this little instruction for M. Okay, some people, if I leave it there, or some of you guys get confused. So that's why I choose to erase it. All right, so in this case, you think about this, everything on this side is already kind of separated. It doesn't have an M. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep moving stuff away from it. So I'm going to go start with plus 6 and plus 6. And this 6 is going to go underneath the plus 4 because these are both numbers. Okay. I can put it underneath the N, the 4N, but it doesn't do us any good. Okay? It doesn't do us any good to put it underneath the 4N. So that's why, we can put it there, but it doesn't do any good because 4N plus 6 doesn't do anything. They're not the same terms. But 4 and 6 you can put together. Okay? So that's why we're going to put it there. These are going to cancel, and you will have 2M equals 4N plus, and then you figure out 4 plus 6 is 10. All right, keep working on this. We're going to go ahead and now, because this is so close and it's multiplication, we're going to go ahead and divide it by 2. Okay, and by doing that, these 2's are going to cancel, and we will finally get M. Now this time, we can't write it as this. Okay, we can't write it as this answer because that answer you can break it up. Okay, we can break it up into 4n divided by 2, and then we can break it up into 10 divided by 2. So we can break it up into those two answers. So 4n divided by 2 actually makes 2n plus, and 10 divided by 2 makes 5. And so in this case, okay, this is your only answer. Right? In this case, this right here is your only answer. Okay. And D, solve for Y. Right? And if you look at this, there's a y right here, and there's a y right here, which means we got to put them together. So first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to put them together by adding y. Okay, and by doing that, these will cancel, and I'll be left with bx equals. Now I got to figure out what negative 2y plus y is. Okay, and if you're using the calculator, it's just negative 2 plus 1, which makes negative 1y. Okay, and that y is what we need all alone. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and divide it by negative 1. And that's going to cancel out, even the negatives, and we're going to get y equals, and b divided by negative 1 is just negative b. Okay, and this is your final answer. Okay, pause it if you need a little more time with it. Okay, moving on. Write the first 5 terms in the sequence. So the first 5 terms are, the first term is you put 1 in there, you put 2 in there, you put 3 in there, put 4 in there, put 5 in there, right? So meaning if I put 1, so A1, if I put 1 in here, that'd be 2 times 1, which is 2, minus 5. So A1, or the first term, is 2 minus 5, and you get 3. Actually, yeah. Okay, so the first term is 3, comma. Okay. If you want to find out the second term, you got to put a 2 in here. Right? So A2, meaning you put a 2 in place of the n. And 2 times 2 is 4. Here, actually, I'll put here 4, take away 5. And 4 take away 5 is negative 1, comma. Okay. We want to know what the third term is. We got to put a 3 in there. So A3, meaning you can put a 3 right here. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 take away 5 is 1. That's your third term, comma. To find out our fourth term, we got to put a 4 in place of the n, which means 2 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 take away 5 is 3. Oh, you know what? The first one comes out to be negative 3. That's why I'm like, hey, there's another 3. You can see how I messed up, but if I'm just thinking about it, that's how it works. Right? We can try it again. If we put the 1 in here, A1 and 1, 2 times 1 is 2. And then you calculate 2 minus 5 is actually negative 3. So I messed up the first time. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, and last one. The fifth term is if we put 5 in here and 5 in here. So 2 times 5 is 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. Okay? That's how you go through all 5 terms. Okay. Next one. Again, we want 5 terms. So we want first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. Okay. Lucky for us, we already know the first term. A1 is 3. Okay. So to get the second term, we got to put a 1 right here. Right? So A1 plus 1, that actually makes 2. So we put 1 here, then we put 1 here also. So it's negative 2 times A1, and A1 is 3. So this right here is actually 3. So the second term, because 1 plus 1 is 2, so A2 is equal to negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Okay. To get the third term, we got to put a 2 in here. Because 2 plus 1 is 3, so A3. So this right here is actually A3, but that's when we put a 2 in here. Okay, and A2, is -6 from the previous problem. So A2, that's actually -6. So the third term, A3, is actually A3, the third term is actually -2 times -6, or +12. And if you can figure out the pattern, then you don't need to keep going. But I haven't figured out the pattern yet, right? So if I want to know the fourth term, I need to use 3 plus 1, which would be a to the fourth, right? A4, and you're going to put a 3 right here because we use a 3. So A3 is actually 12, so right here is going to be 12. So the fourth term, A4, is equal to -2 times 12, which is -24. And then to get the fifth term, or A5, right? To get 5, we have to use a 4 right here and a 4 right here, right? Because 4 plus 1 is 5. So A5 is going to be -2 times A4, and A4 is -24. So A4, this right here, would be -24. Right? So A4 again is -24. So -2 times -24 is a +48. And that's all 5 terms. All right, folks. Hopefully that helped. See you tomorrow.